This video is sponsored by Rewarded View. Are you tired of just scrolling through your phone without making any profit from it? Well, Rewarded View is for you. If you have an Android phone, then head over to rewarded-views.prima.ai, download the app, and start earning today. All you have to do is create your account, watch videos, and get paid for each and every video that you watch. So, what are you waiting for today? Download Rewarded Views and earn the smart way. Hey guys, how are you all doing? How's your day going? And if you're just starting, how was your night? Hope you had or having an amazing and a beautiful day today. Happy new month, happy new year. I know this is probably like the first official video I'm uploading this year. A lot has happened. Just rounded up my clearance, waiting for service. Yeah, I decided let's come and let's finally enter into our data analysis era because that's where everyone is trying to go to now. So let's be one of them, shall we? So today we're just going to be doing the basic introduction to data analysis and Excel. We'll cover some of the basic stuff that data analysis does, but in the sense of Excel, like if you don't know, a lot of people even before programming came and took over this whole stuff, a lot of people used to handle their data in Excel. So every single thing you can do it with Excel. At least most of the basic stuff you need to do, you can do it in Excel. And even if you are going to be using R, SQL, or Python, you would need to handle certain things in your data in Excel before you now carry it out to your main program. So without further ado, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer it. This is going to be an 18 video series and we're going to cover everything data analysis. And if you guys like the tutorial and you would like us to take the step further, then I will be releasing a data science tutorial. But yeah, if you have liked the video, let's go to the next list. Introduction to Data Analysis and Excel Basics, Part 1. First question and the most important question, what is data analysis? Now, you can take name and just be like, oh, data analysis is the act of analyzing data, and you won't really be exactly wrong. But data analysis is the process of organizing raw data so we can pull out insights which are useful to companies. So these like raw data we provided, this data that has not been sorted, data that looks so disorderly, or has limited or excess amount of information, and then you take that data, you would format it or you work on it or you clean it or whatever, and then you sort it out and arrange in a form where you can now retrieve relevant information from say data in relation to the company in question or the business in question or whatever. Now some of the differences between data analysis and data science, you have data analysis is looking backwards. Data analysis basis on is it's to kind of like study data, usually standard formatted data. So it studies the data, tries to retrieve information from that data that will now help in providing future insights. While data science is further looking, it deals with prediction using machine learning. So what is basically it has algorithms that have been set and programmed that studies behaviors and predicts what is most likely to happen in a given period of time. So next, data analysis is not programming heavy, while data science is programming heavy. I mean, yeah, working with machine learning. Then both of them deal with data visualization. We're going to cover data visualization later on in this tutorial. But yeah, why study data analysis? Well, the main purpose of data analysis is to make faster and better business decision to reduce the overall business cost and develop new and innovative products and services. Basically, what it's just saying is reduce the time spent to making good decisions that helps to save money, save time, and create better products for your company. So some of the real world applications, you can use data science in any single field you are in. You can use it to predict future sales. You can use it to protect against fraud. You can use it to analyze the effectiveness of marketing companies. You can use it to boost customer retention, and you can use it to increase supply chain efficiency. But yeah, now let's just go into what are the outline, just like a brief outline of some of the main processes that you need to take when you are analyzing data. So the first thing is to define the question you want to answer. You need to have a question in mind or a problem that you would like to solve, so that this can kind of be like your guide whilst you are working with data. Because if let's say we're giving the exact same data, but let's say me, I'm running maybe a food company and you're running like a drinks company or something. I know that's a very bad example. The information that might be relevant to my company could be irrelevant to yours. So if we're just saying, okay, well, let's just carry this data and just clean the data, or let's remove certain data from me. So what if I remove a data that I might need, but you, if you remove that same data, it may not affect your overall output. Once you are defining the question, you are going to need to outline what data you would need and where you are planning on getting that data from, whether it's from surveys or from already existing data sets or whatever. So after you have defined the question, next you want to do is now actually collect the data. Now this data you're going to collect is going to be disorderly. Um I have a data set, an Excel data set that we're going to work on, and you'd see all these stuff we're going to do shortly. So after you collect the data, you need to now clean the data so that you make sure all the relevant information you might need will be available, and any irrelevant information that might just be making your work more complex than it needs to be is eradicated. Now, the name is very straightforward. Clean the data, or data cleaning. Data cleaning is the process of fixing or removing incorrect, corrupted, incorrectly formatted, duplicate, or incomplete data within a data set. So it's just basically formatting the set until it's extremely relevant to your program, so that there'll be no duplicate information, there will not be maybe wrong spellings, or it's not formatted, or maybe align everything. We'll cover everything when we enter Excel, which we're going to do shortly. After that, then you can now analyze the data before you then interpret the data. But when you're analyzing data, there are three main um statistical analytical methods that you can use. We have the regression analysis. This is used to identify the association between variables occurring in the same data. So this will just tell you which variable actually affects what you are trying to do, which variable is actually important to you. And I think like multiple types, like one of the one is most popular one is linear regression, which if we're going to do data science, that'll be the first one I'll actually introduce you to. Then there is the cluster analysis. This one is just grouping similar objects together. And finally, there's this time series analysis, which uses time period, or analyzes data over a given time period. Uh, After your data is analyzed, you can then interpret the data either as a graph or a table, and you can now do your yeah, you have gotten your official results. You can now share it with your team, or with the business, or whatever it is you were analyzing the data for. So yeah, now that we've gone to that, we're going to enter into Excel now. So sadly for me, I don't have Excel. So Excel gives you the ability to use their web platform. You just go to, I think, excel.new, but you can use Excel on the web. I could do that, but I'm currently not connected to the internet, and going online here wouldn't really be reliable because the network and I was trying to do that earlier, and the thing was just lagging. Like I would type in something, and before the site to read it, I was just, let me just manage my WPS. So I'm using WPS. It's free. If you want to use Excel on your desktop, you have to pay for, I think, that they are 360, or is it 365, whatever their business stuff is called. So if you want to do that, you can go and pay to get that. Well, I'm not. So I'll use WPS. So some of the commands we may be using might be hidden, but if maybe I'm calling, I'll try and like call what I need. So if you don't see it, you can just search for it here. If we search for anything, it's going to show. But overall, if I'm so advise, I would advise you to use Excel because I feel Excel is better. Excel has, I don't know if WPS has, I've been trying to Google it, I've not really seen, but Excel has this feature that actually helps in a minimal data analyzing stuff. So maybe one day I'll just go on the web version and I'll just do an official Excel version. But for now, I will try to just use like base terms of the functions I want you to use, so you can just easily search it if you don't find it in your Excel. But yeah, in Excel, in any table, we have what is called columns and rows. So columns are these ones that run along the vertical axis, they run down straight, while your rows are the ones that run horizontally. Now, when a column and a row overlap each other, they create something that is called a cell. This cell is what is going to hold your objects or whatever value it is you want to place inside the cell. Now, each of the cells have names. The way you get the cell of the name of a cell, this is the cell of a name. You find first of all the column where it's on. That'll be the first letter because the columns have alphabet as their names, and then you now get the row that is the number. So even on this cell here, one A1. What else do you need to know? So let's create a data. So let's say we want to create a data to check what sales we have made in the past few months. So we'll just put months. So now if I was to come here and let's say I type January and I want to fill it down to December, but I'm too lazy to type everything by myself, I can just come. You see this small cube that's at the ending of this box after I've highlighted it. If you hover over it, you notice your cursor will change into this black stuff. So if you just double tap on it, hold it and drag it, you can see at the side now it's starting to mention different months. So I'm just going to drag it down until we reach December and it will autofill everything up for us. You can use this for days, numbers, alphabets, just things that appear in sequential orders. And you can also go ahead and actually format this by yourself. So if you just press Control and number one, you can see, like, you first of all obviously have to select the cell, so you can see different formatting options. You can format it based on numbers, so how you want the number to appear. We'll do this when we're putting the price. If you want to use thousand operators, if you want to have decimal places, how you want the numbers to show. You can use this for currencies. You pick the currency you want to. You can use this for accounting, just different things, times, anything that just appears in sequential order. And you can also make your own custom ones if you're hard desires. But yeah, no, we want to do months. So now let's do sales. I think it's sales, we just call it. So we're just going to input random values here. Just type a bunch of values. I don't want it to be, oh, that's the money. Imagine making that amount of money just in 1 month. Let's just be typing, just typing a bunch of numbers. So just, yeah. Okay. Now that we have um gotten the sales. Like, remember I told you about the formatting stuff. So if you want to format this, we're just going to tap on the first box here. Our left button, our left mouse button, we'll just click on it while still holding it. We're just going to drag down as if you want to select, just drag along the vertical axis so that it will select everything. And that way that you can do this is if you click on it, you can just hold on the control shift and that down arrow key. Just press it and it will just select everything that is below it. So now control one again. We want to now format it as a number. So we don't want to have any decimal places first of all. Once we make use of the thousand separators, and this is how we want the numbers to be shown. So if you just press OK, you can see now it has formatted the numbers from you. Let's take a step further now. Control one. If it said that you want to add currencies to it, you can add those currencies. So let's use dollars. Perfect. So next you want to do, let's create another work here. Let's say bonuses. So let's say this is just going to be like a bunch of extra money that the company, oh no, let's call it losses. It doesn't really matter. We're not really working with any specific data. So when you have this data, yeah, let's say we're analyzing our whole data and something, and we said, oh, okay, we don't really need this bonus tab to be showing, but we don't want to delete it in case maybe down the line we may need it. You can just click on this the column, the beginning of the column up here, right click on it, and you see hide. So if you hide it, that stuff will no longer be showing, but you can see we have ABD. So C still exists, it's just hidden, and you can always open it up when you want to access it again. If let's say maybe I want to add something, I want to add a new cell, a new row column before here, I can just right click on it, and I can either insert column to the left or insert column to the right. So we'll just insert column to the left. Another way that you can go about doing this is pressing Control, Shift, and plus. That equals to, and it's going to just insert it. So now I'm introducing you guys to the shortcuts, the shortkeys. It's not compulsory for you to use it. You just everything is always about how faster you can work, but it's still going to be the exact same thing no matter what you use. But we don't need that. Okay, let's take that back. If you want to delete it, you can always right click and delete a cell, or you can do control and minus, not shift, just control and minus. Okay. um the same thing also applies if you want to work with a row. We can do control shift plus, and we can do control minus to remove it. Then if you want to adjust the width, you just click on what it is, hold up here until when the cursor changes, and you just drag it until it covers. The same thing, if you drag it too small, it's going to now hash out the numbers. So you can just expand it. Another thing you can do, let me just reduce this. Another thing you can do is, if you select, you won't select everything, you can either press Ctrl A, or you can just drag it and slide. So if you press Ctrl A, so now I know for Excel it's not going to show the same. I think on Excel it will just show in this box. You just see a box here, but it's just we're going to do auto fit. So you do auto fit height so that it will fit the height perfectly. I can do auto fit column width, so it automatically adjust to fit everything perfectly. So I think Excel just shows auto fit in their box there. But yeah, like I said, you can always come over here and just search for what you're looking for. Okay, what do we need to um cover? Let's work with formulas. So if you come up here to your formula tab, you can see a bunch of different formulas that you may use. This I did not know you could do in Excel until when I started learning data analysis, but this is basically control statements. You can handle that in Excel, which is, I think is actually very neat. We'll get into that shortly. But let's say we want to sum everything here. We can just come below here. I'll show you a faster way we can do this, but we can just do total. Now, if you want to write a formula in a cell, the first thing you must do is type equal to. Once you type equal to, the next thing is now sum. You can type it in small letter. I'm sure if you click on it, it will automatically change to capital letter. Parenthesis because it's a function. Now, what you just do is click on what you want to sum. Just be clicking on what you want to sum. Press enter, and we'll sum it for you. You can go about this is, okay, wait, let me clean it. Another way you can go about this is just do equal to the number, the cell, then just do the plus sign, and you just keep clicking what it is you want to sum together. It's still going to give you the same result. Now, I was saying I was going to show you a different way that you can go about this. So, but firstly, we're going to turn this stuff into a table. So we'll just select everything we want to put into our table. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. So we'll just select everything we want to put into our table, right? Then we'll come to insert. When you reach insert, you just click on table. So you just will ask you where is the data for your table. So you just pick where the table is starting from. So it's starting from A1 and it's stopping at B13. So you just, my table has headers because we have this month and sales stuff. So the first stuff is just going to be turned into headers. Just press OK. Now obviously you can style the table as your heart desires. But if you look over here, you'll see something called total row. So if you just click on it, it's going to automatically sum this stuff for you. So let's just format this. Let's format it control one number. Let's not add any decimal space. Let's use thousand separators. Maybe just let's add dollar sign. All right. So now that we have the table, one reason why you do table, it helps in like organizing your data more. Plus, there are certain actions you may want to carry out that would be better done if everything is enclosed in a table. For example, this overall summary. I mean, you can still sum it without the table, but yeah, if the larger your data is, the more harder it would be. So this will just be the best um method. Okay, so so now there's something called conditional formatting. So let's just select this table, this whole row. Let's exclude. We don't want to select the total tab, just this. So now if you go over to your home tab, you would see something called conditional formatting. Where did my conditional formatting just disappear to? Yeah, you see something called conditional formatting. If you click on it, basically this is just going to give you different rules on how you can format your data. You can read further on it if you had desires. But you can decide to use data bars that will kind of like, when you have like, okay, the higher the percentage of it is, you just be dragging it to fill. Or you can use this color scale where different colors represent different things. Like green will mean that like this one is like in, when they say like you're in the green, it's the value, like we're dealing with numbers. So we're analyzing the amount of money we made. So if anyone shows green, that is when one of our good months when we sold a lot. If it shows yellow, that is average, and red, that is bad. So you can also use icon set. So this is just like to just analyze, like to see, just helps you organize your data better. So in this case, we want to see which of our data is pulling the highest. So we can either use data bars that will just be filling up the cell depending on how well it did, or we can use color set. So let's use these color ones. So you can see this one that is green is where most of the money we made this year is in. These red ones are the ones that did horribly. If you notice, the gradient of the red is also changing. Like this 49 is not as dark as the 2K. But yeah, so this coming like when you want general outline, you don't have to start sorting out or sort out by which by price or something like that. You just want to just be able to look at your data and have a rough idea of where your profits came from and where your losses came from. Uh, okay, another thing, let's say we want to create charts. So let's just select this table. So if you come over to insert, you see something here called charts. So if you click on charts, you'll be able to create custom charts. So you can either use a column chart, a line chart, a pie chart. Now this is the um this is the stage at which you are interpreting the data. I remember. So let's say we're finished because there's not really much for us to clean our data, but we're finished cleaning our data, we've organized the data. So now we want to um well, I think this number I put here is too high because why is the chart looking? Let me reduce this number a bit. Let me reduce it a bit so that every figure will show on our this thing. Let me just reduce it by one digit. Okay, so the chart should look better now. There are different types of charts. You just pick whatever chart it is you'd want to use. So which one should we use? Let's use the basic one. Let's use let's use column chart, right? So you can see it's going to have different prices at the side. It's going to have the month, and you're going to see how much each of those months took from your system. Yeah, but aside charts, there's another thing that we would want to touch. So whilst you let's still highlight our table again. This one is also to help you analyze your data better. So it helps you analyze your data. So what we would want to do is still come over here to insert. So now you're going to see something called pivot table. Is it pivot? Is pivot is pronounced that so. A pivot table is a table of values which are aggregations of groups of individual values from a more extensive table within one or more discrete categories. So we're going to understand what it means because to me that one is just big English. So If you just come over here, click on pivot table, we'll get a pop-up menu. So we're going to select the table we want to work in, or you want to analyze an external data source. Then wants to create in a new worksheet. So we'll just say okay. So now you see that it's a table of values which are aggregations of groups of individual values from a more extensive table. Now our table unfortunately only has two values, which is months and sales, and they're very small. But if we had a more larger, maybe we had like different things, maybe we had the media stuff and we're analyzing the media for profit from each month, what we can now do is we can just pick maybe two parts of the tables instead of hiding everything. We can just pick two parts of the table and analyze them alongside each other. So compare certain values to a given um I don't know. So the first is what we want to use as our values. So over here our main values is going to be the sales. So we'll just hold it and drag it into this value box down here, because that is the main thing we want to see, the values. So if you come here now, it's showing the sum of the values, but if you right click on it and you can show summarize values by, you can now say it maybe average. So just give us the average of the values, but let's leave it at sum because that is a general go to. Then now we can now use what we want to filter it by. So let's say because the only other option we have is months. So we can now filter and show the values for a specific month. If we want to do January, we'll show the value of January. But now you can see over here we have this stuff called column and rows. This column and rows is now where you now actually be comparing the table. You want to compare because this one is just showing us an average value or a total sum. So if we were to drag this to column, it's just going to show us each and every month that exists and the value that each of those months generated. And it's going to be the exact same thing if we were to drag it down to rows. So you will have the grand total, we'll have what each month got. Another thing we can do here is we can control how these values are displayed. So if you just right click on it, we're going to see something show value as. So you can now show value as percentage of grand total. So from each month, it's going to show us how much did each month contribute to the official and the final grand total. So you can see here now, you can see how our graph was literally not showing these figures because they are all in like 0 point. So this just better help like display your data in a more um organized manner, I guess. Then what we want to do, let's go into the data cleaning. So I was thinking of like an Excel stuff to create, but my mind was going blank. So we would be using someone else's um data Excel file that they provided. So I'm trying to look for the creator's names. That yes, Kenji explains. I'll just put his stuff here. So I got the Excel file from him. So I would leave it linked in the description below. But this is how the file looks when we're starting. This is it. You can see it doesn't look good. Looks very disorganized. But if you now come over here, this now is how everything is going to look afterwards. So let's just jump into it without further ado. So like I said, I'll provide the file for you in the description if you're interested in it. So I've already told you what data cleaning is. It's the process of fixing or removing incorrect, corrupted, incorrectly formatted, duplicate, or incomplete data within a data set. So now you can see, remember I told you when you're seeing hashtags like this, it's not that the person put hashtag, there are values there. It's just that the values are not visible because of the weight. So what you can now do is adjust it. So if you want to adjust it, remember I told you, let's just select everything. So if you want to adjust the width now, you go to your home. Now, if you're using Excel, it will just show here. If not, you auto fit height and you'd auto fit column. So that has fixed that part of the issue. So another thing we want to address is these client names here. They have parentheses, and within that parentheses, they have values inside it. So we don't need these. These parentheses are just identifiers of the companies that we are working with. So we want to get rid of it. So remember how to select down, control shift down. Did I not press control shift down? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to find and replace. So go to find and replace. So if you want to replace something, you just use the parentheses because everything is enclosed in parentheses, but we're not going to use an asterisk to signify every single thing within their parentheses. Then for replace, we don't put anything there, just replace all. So it's going to get rid of the parentheses and every name that is inside it. But now this capitalized stuff is looking very, very aggressive. So what we want to do is we want to change everything to lowercase. So we're going to just insert a new um a new column, control shift plus, sorry, control shift plus. Then we're going to call this clients. Okay. Now what we're going to do is there's a command. Remember, you can just go through the whole formulas, or if you click on text, if you scroll down, you can see we have um different bunches of um actions, I guess, that can be carried out on it. So you can just go, this one we want to use now, lower, to turn everything to lowercase. Proper is to capitalize. We're going to use that later. And upper changes everything to uppercase. So if you want to work with a formula, the first thing you must always put must be an equal to sign. Then we're going to put lower, then parentheses. Now we're going to click on the text we want to turn to lowercase, bracket, and if you press enter, it's going to change to lowercase. Now I want to do this for every single thing that down, but nobody has strength to do that. So click on it, come until you see this cursor, tap, and it's just going to change every single thing to lowercase. Now we now want to delete this. Before you delete it, if you click on this, you can see this value here is not Amazon, it's a reference value. If we delete this, there's this of have nothing to reference. So what we're just going to do is just going to select everything down, then we're going to copy it, then we're going to go to home, and we're going to paste as value. So just this arrow below paste, click on it, and we'll just paste it as values. So now if you click on it, you can now see it's a text, and if this is done, you can now successfully delete that. Okay. Another thing we want to do is remove white spaces. So we want to trim it. So trimming, what it does is removes white spaces before and after it takes. It doesn't affect the white spaces that is within it. So we'll just come control shift select. Now let's create a new this thing first. Control shift plus. This is going to be our contact. So we're going to do equal to trim parentheses. Select the text we want to trim, close parentheses, enter. Is going to remove all white spaces. Double tap on this edge here so it runs everything down. We're going to copy it, we're going to paste as values, and we're going to delete this. The next thing we want to do is we want to now format the names to display properly. So same thing, we're going to do equal to, remember I mentioned proper capitalizes the first letter of each word. So that is, if you are familiar with Python, that is like the capitalize function. So parentheses, select it, close parentheses, enter, come back up here and double tap. Control C, paste as values, and delete. Okay, so we're making progress. Next thing we want to do now is to ensure that there are no duplicates inside our program. So we want to select everything first. Control A. After everything is selected, you want to head over to this data tab and you want to remove duplicate. So I think for Excel zone is going to be like an icon. I'll maybe find the icon and put it on the screen here so you can do that. But for WPS, you just see highlight duplicate. There are more actions you can do if you want to like manage duplicates or stuff, you can fix them, but we just want to remove them. So highlight duplicate and just see remove duplicates. So just click remove duplicates. Okay. Next thing we want to do is want to handle blank cells, cells that have no values, like this one's over here. So just do Control A. Then we're going to head over to our home tab. We're going to do find and select. So for what is it called? For Excel, you just see find and select. I think I don't really know what it shows, but you see go to special. You see go to special, but for here we want to do find and replace. We're going to select go to. Now we're going to go to blanks. So he's going to now highlight all the blanks. So we're going to come over to our formula tab, which is the start of page. We're going to type the replace text. You can put new, you can put now. But don't just press enter. You want to press control and then enter. If you just press enter, it's only going to fit it into this first one. But if you press control enter, it fits into every single blank that is there. Next, we want to now handle this error. So you can see on this line here, it calculates it. So if you click on it, you can see it's a formula. But since NA cannot be divided, you cannot like carry out all these actions on NA. It's now giving us like kind of like saying a value error. So this one we're now going to come and use our conditional. So let's just come over here. Let's go to the formula tab here. So the equals to is always going to be first. So we'll just say if error, there is if an error occurs. So this is kind of like error handling in Python. If error, we're going to put parentheses. Then we're going to have the normal formula that we wanted to use to calculate initially. Then we're going to have comma, and after the comma, we're now going to have what text should be fitted in. If you want to use a number, you just type the number. If not, if it's a text you want to put, you just put parentheses and type in the text and close the parentheses and close the inverted comma, sorry, and then you close the parentheses and you press enter. Now for to make it run down through, because the errors occurred in more than one place, you just double tap, and any place that this any stuff showed, any place that's had an error is going to just change it to any. Is there another thing we need to do? Styling. So this styling now is just, I guess, to just make it look more pretty. So if you just press Control A, or let's style the, you can just change the table and style it, or you can just style these heading tags yourself. So let's just do that. So if we select it, we'll just come over to home. We can now settle the outline, fill color for this background. You can pick the color we want and text color. Then you can also remove um grid lines. So if you want to remove grid lines, you just go back to view and you just see grid lines is checked here. So you just uncheck it. So now there's no grid line showing. And yeah, you have your data. So let's take this step further. Let's work with that. Let's change the table. Let's work with, I want us to work with this pivot table stuff. So on a new worksheet. Okay. So let's sort it out. So from our first work, the values we have is on, we have, okay, we have revenue, we have profit. Let's use profit values. Let's use profit as values. Then we want to use clients. So this is the profit that each client brought in. So you can see, so you can also like choose to, if you don't want to work with clients, you can use dates. So the profit that came in each date. So that's, so you're seeing like now that you have like a larger table, you're seeing how this pivot table stuff works. If you want to change the value from profit, you can do profit margin. So yeah, that's basically everything. We're still going to come back and go more further into Excel in our next video. If you have any question before that video comes out, you can ask the question and I'll answer the question in a short or just as a normal video on the page. But this is part one of introduction to data science. 17 more to go. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.